Hello, let's learn functions today. So here I have drawn some mappings, few graphs also I have drawn. So let us see which mapping is a function and which one is not a function. So the first oval shape which we see is the input, and the second one is the output. So if we put, say, in a function machine, if I put 1, so it will give me the output as a. So this input thing, this is known as domain. Okay, so this is the domain of our function. Input is the domain of our function, and whatever output we get, that is the range of the function. Okay, so input is domain, output is range. So in this particular case, our input or domain is 1 2 3 4, and the output or range is a b c d. And as I can see that if I input 1 in the machine, then it will give me just one output, which is a. Same way, if I give 2 as the input, then it will give me B as the output. If I give 3 as the input, it will give me D as the output. If I give 4 as the input, it will give me C as the output. It means what? That each and every single unit of domain is giving me a unique particular output, a unique output as a range. Okay, so this is a kind of one to one function. This is a one to one mapping, you can say, and one to one mapping is a function. Always one to one mapping is a function. Okay, now in this case, what is this? This is, you see, if you give 1 as the input, then p is the output. If you give 2 as the input, then also there is p as the output. Like many functions you give as input, then it will give you the same output. Okay, and 3 is giving you r, 4 is giving you q. So actually this is a kind of many to one. This is a kind of many to one mapping, and this is also a function. So one to one is a function, many to one is a function. Remember, always one to one mapping and many to one mappings, they are the functions. Okay, always. Remaining ones would not be like one to many. Like here, let us see this case. Here it is one to many. If you give 2 input, then you will be getting many outputs, w, x, y, z. So this is a kind of many to one mapping, and it is not a function. It is not a function. Many to one mapping is not a function, right? Remember that. In this case, what we can see here, 1, so C is the output, 2A, 2B. So again, this is one to many kind of thing only. One to many. Yeah, one to many this is. So remember, this is also not a mapping. This is not a function, I'm sorry. So only one to one and many to one mappings, they are the functions. Remember, one to one and many to one, right? Now let us see here the graphs I have drawn. The first one is a circle. Now how to test that this particular graph is a function or not? So there is a one simple test, we call it as vertical line test. So I will simply draw a vertical line and check. Okay, so now I can see that here my vertical line is like intersecting the curve or the graph at 2 points. Like one single value is having 2 outputs, so it is one to many. It is one to many, and one to many is not a function. Okay, one to many is not a function, so it means that this is not a function. When my vertical line intersects at more than one point on the graph, then it is not a function. Now let us see here. See, here this is intersecting just at one point, so this is a function. Here if I draw a vertical line, so in this case it is intersecting at again 2 points, this is not a function. Okay, here if I draw, then it is intersecting only at one point, this is a function, right? If I draw here this sine cos curve, so here if I draw, see, this is again a function because it is intersecting at only one point. Okay, Now this reciprocal function, 1 over x type of function. So here also it is passing this vertical line test. So this is a function. Here if I do, this is root of x square root function. So this is also a function, you see, intersecting at just one point. If I draw here, so one particular x value would give me just one output. So this is again a function. This is 2 raised to x type of function. This is absolute value function. Here also if I give one input, it will give me one output. Okay, like x is giving me one output. So yeah, this is again a function. This is x cubed type of function. This is, so this is again intersecting at one point only. So all these are functions. But yeah, circle is not a function, and this kind of parabola, the horizontal one, is not a function. Straight line is a function. I hope you understood how to identify by the vertical line test. Now let us do two questions in which we have been given the function and the domain is given, and we are asked to find out the range of that particular function. So what I will be doing is, here let me write, like this is 3 plus root of x minus 2, square root of x function, right? Square root of x is this kind of graph. This kind of graph is a square root of x. Okay, and this is what, 3 plus. Okay, so what I can do here is, if I see on the curve, so 3 plus means say this is 1 2 3. Okay, here, so this is the vertical shift. Okay, so and then it is x minus 2. Minus 2 means say 1 2. Let me write it like this, 1 2. So it is shifted here. So my curve is like starting and it is going like this. It is going like this. This is 3 plus square root of x minus 2. So now what is the range of this function? Obviously the range would be what? It would be all the values which are greater than 3, right? So we say that the range of this function would be what? The fx value would be all greater than equal to 3, right? Fx would be always greater than equal to 3 because it is always 3 plus something. Understood? Okay, and then here if it is another function, say fx is equal to x minus 1 whole squared plus 5. Now I think you must have understood. So what I will do here, this is plus 5 here, and this is a parabola, a quadratic function. So it is a parabola plus 5. So say 1 2 3 4 5. So this is my 5 here, and x minus 1. So here, so my vertex is shifted here. Okay, and it is like this kind of parabola. Okay, what does it show? You can see that my here range is like always starting from 5. So 5 plus something, 5 plus something, and they're saying for x greater than 1. For x greater than 1 they are asking. So greater than 1, so when x is 1, then my value is 5. When x is 2, it will be always greater than that only. So we say that my fx, that is the range of fx, or range is fx only, output is fx, so we say range is fx. So fx is always greater than equal to 5. Understood? So this is how we find out the range. Remember, in a graph, when we see the x-axis, the domain, so here the domain is, you can say the domain of this particular function would be what? Negative x to positive x. So it is negative infinity to positive infinity is the domain. Domain is mostly always the real number, all real numbers from negative infinity to positive infinity. And if sometimes in graph, in questions, you might have got like this. So x is greater than equal to say negative 2 to say 4. So you have been given the range, you have been restricted to only these values from negative 2 to positive 4. So you have to see your graph in that particular domain only, and see in that particular domain what is our output. Okay, So that would be the range of our given function. Let me take one example so that this thing is clear to you, I think. You know? So if I say here, let us say the function is fx is equal to say 10 minus x minus 3 whole square, and the domain is say x is greater than equal to 2 to less than equal to 7. So let me write it clearly, less than equal to 7. Now in this case we have been asked to find out the range. Okay, so let us find out the range here. So what I will do is I will simply find my f2. f2 would be what? 10 minus 2 minus 3 whole squared, and that is 10 minus, this is negative 1, so negative 1 square is positive 1, so 10 minus 1 is 9. Okay, now what is my f7? My f7 would be say 10 minus 7 minus 3 whole squared, and that would be 10 minus 7 minus 3 is 4, and 4 squared is 16, so it is negative 6. So here my range is what? My range fx is always say greater than equal to negative 6 and less than equal to 9. Got it? So this is how we find, because see, this is negative x minus 3 whole square. Negative x minus 3 whole square means what? My curve is like this, somewhat like this. Okay, and it is always less than 10 because 10 is the maximum value here. See, 10 is the maximum value and it is x minus 3. Oh, I'm sorry, this is x minus 3, so it is shifted. X minus 3 means it will be here, like this kind of curve it would be, but this value would be 10. Okay, this is my 3 here. Okay, and we have been asked for 2 to 7 only, so say 2 to 7, maybe somewhere here 2 to 7. So our value would be what? At 2 our value will be say 9, and then at 7, so it may go down. Understood? This is how we find the range. Hope you understood. Keep practicing, dear. Shall meet in next video. Bye.